for the corner position going against the option?
Discipline. You got to make sure that you have great eyes. I mean, there's a lot of motion, a lot of movement, making sure that we know what the call is and where our eyes are supposed to be. Because if you get off at one point, I mean, they had an 80-yard touchdown on the first drive against, I think it was Nevada. So you just got to be making sure that you're doing your job every single play. And it could be 15, 20 plays in a row where we're not needed, but all of a sudden there's a post down the middle of the field and everybody's going to be counting us to do our job. So it's just making sure that we're consistent with our eyes, our footwork, and making sure that we're in the right place every play.
How hard is that for a corner? And it has happened, I know you weren't here, but in the past against them, where they've done that to Boise State to beat them a couple of times, where they've beaten them with the pass. And so, how hard is that to have 15, 20 plays in a row and not slip up that one time when they get you?
It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. It's like, I mean, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're not seeing you don't get to compete. And then all of a sudden, there's that time where the whole team's counting on you, the whole Bronco Nation's counting on you. You got to be in that right spot. And so, again, making sure that your eyes are right, and they're going to play with it. They're going to give you the same look over and over and over again, and off that look, they'll give you a play-action pass. And so it is extremely hard to be disciplined for that long, and that's what this week's all about, making sure that every day in practice, our eyes and our feet are in the right place.
What's the corner's responsibility on
We got a lot of cracker plays. Sometimes we'll set the edge. I mean, it's again, depending on the call, we're going to do a lot of different things. And so we're just like everybody else. When you play Air Force, they make you play with all 11. And so we're just like any linebacker, any safety. We got to make sure that we're doing our job every single play.
How many times did you guys ever go against the triple option when you were at Southern Utah?
Every year. We played Cal Poly, so
that's
very
right.
similar
Gotcha.
offenses.
The passing defense has been great this season. How are the defensive backs looking forward to the challenge of kind of run primary offense?
I mean, it's just we're in conference now. We're 3-0 in conference, and we need to do our job to make sure we give our team the best chance to win. And so that's what we're focused on every single day, is making sure that we're in the right spots, doing our job so we can continue to go to our goal, which is to win a conference championship. And so this is the next step in it, and it's going to be a difficult challenge. And so we're excited for that.
What is the challenge like facing the number one rushing offense in the country, and you know what they're going to do? I mean, what it's got to be. You guys have done pretty well against the run, obviously, but it's got to be pretty exciting going every time you get this challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. They're great at what they do. They do it well, and they do it better than anybody else in the country. And so it's our job to do our best and make sure that, again, we're in the right places at the right time and working all together, because you got to stay on the string. Everybody's got to do their part every single play. If there's a chink in the armor, they'll find it, and so that's going to be a challenge for us.
How important is like first and second down too, to where they're not in 3rd and 1 every time? If you can get them behind the chains a little bit, or have them at 3rd and long and make them maybe have to pass a little more, or at least be in uncomfortable spots. I mean, Have you seen that in some of their losses? That's what they were struggling with? Or?
Yeah, that's imperative. I don't think they had a 3rd down until I think the 4th drive or 5th drive last week, and it was late in the second quarter, mid-second quarter, so they didn't even get to 3rd down. So you better do a good job on 1st and 2nd, or else it's not going to be a very fun day for you. So yes, it's very important to ask any offense to make sure that they're off schedule and get us in a favorable 3rd down.
When you look at the film, the schematics of how different teams try to defend them, is it similar? Are there a whole bunch of different variations, or what do they see when different people play?
They've been doing this for so long, it don't matter what you do. They'll know what's coming, they'll have the answer for it. And so they've been doing it a long time. I'm sure that book's pretty big about, when you do this, we do that. And so, yeah, you really can't think too much about how other teams guard them. You got to stick to your system, and maybe there's an idea here or there, but at the end of the day, they're going to be ready for whatever you do. It's all about making sure that you're disciplined, that you're getting off blocks and making tackles. It's going to come down to the basics of football more than any other week. And again, coming off a bye week, we got to make sure that our eyes are right, we're getting off blocks, and we're tackling. We do those 3 things, and we can have success. But it's going to be a difficult challenge going against, again, the number 1 offense in the country, rushing-wise.
What makes Brad Roberts so good? Obviously, they scheme him well, but he is leading in statistical categories by a wide margin. What sticks out on tape?
He runs extremely hard. With low pad level. You got to make sure that you wrap up, or else he'll break your tackle. And again, he's coming at you so fast that you got to be ready to go. If you're not in the right spot, you're a little bit off, and you're reaching with your arms, you're not going to bring him down. And so you got to get yourself in a good tackling position. You got to make sure your eyes in the right place, and you're able to hit him with your shoulder pads. Because if you're not, he's not going to go down. So again, it's a difficult challenge of making sure that we see him get the ball, and then we're in good position to tackle him.
Both sides of the ball were playing the best they had all season before the bye week. How does the bye week break that up? How does it impact that?
We'll see on Saturday. Hopefully we're a little bit healthier and fresher, and we're ready to go, but I have no idea. We'll see. We worked hard during the bye week. got them back this week, and we're excited to go again. We're trying to stay in the same mindset, man. We're taking 1 week at a time, try to get be 1-0, and that's the challenge this week, going into going versus a good team in a road appointment that we haven't played in a while.
That extra week off, is it more film? Is it more time on the field? Like, how does that help?
It was more like a regular week for the most part. Got into the film room, got out there, executed some stuff that we had to get better at, and will help us moving forward.
How important is tackling? You mentioned it, but I mean, just against a team like this where there's a lot of one-on-one tackles, where a 3-yard gain can become 13 if you don't make a tackle. I mean, how important is that? I know Coach was saying last week you guys spent some time during the bye week working on tackling.
Yeah, it's imperative, and not only a 3-yard gain going to 13, but a 3-yard gain going to 5. That's a big difference. 2nd and 5 versus 2nd and 7 is huge, and so it's, again, tackling is imperative, and it's not just the breakout runs. Like, you have to tackle them where you hit them. If you don't, and they start to squeak out some dirty runs and start to get to 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, it's gonna be a long day. So you got to make sure you hit them square. Kind of going back to how to tackle Roberts, you got to make sure you're hitting thick with your shoulder pads.
And Daniels, the quarterback, how much is what's he stand out on film?
He can throw it. He's a pretty accurate passer when he gets time, and they catch you off guard because you're playing the option so much. You're playing the lateral, you're playing downhill, and all of a sudden he's back there standing looking for those deep routes. So he can hit the open guy, and he'll fit some in as well. So he's thrown a couple balls over the middle where there's some tight coverage, and we got to do our job. If we're not where we need to be, they'll make us pay.
You have 2 teams that run so much. Obviously, there's going to be less possession. How do you guys get your guys to buy in, just to what are you looking for in your defense? Like, whether it's turnovers, 3 and outs, just because there are so many limited possessions.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we're fighting for every yard. We're fighting for every yard because we know that every yard is going to be an opportunity to get them off the field for possessions. And when they do run the ball, we got to make sure that we are getting after the football. If we get the ball on the ground and still a possession, it's going to be huge. There's going to be so many of those during the week, and so we got to make sure that we're taking advantage of every opportunity we get to get on the field.
What have you seen from Tyreek and Nohe the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, they both played a lot, almost the same amount of snaps, I think all the way up into San Diego State, and so they've been doing a good job of making the most of their opportunities. Reek ended up getting some boundary reps last week, and so they've been doing a really good job. I'm really proud of my group, how they fight and compete with each other, and they come to work. I mean, we work a lot here,
yeah.
And coming in with working with those groups makes it all worth it. Those guys, they do everything you ask for them. They give you the effort, they give you the energy on and off the field, and as a position coach, man, that just makes you grateful for them and their attitudes, and I'm excited to have a group like that.
Scout team quarterback is important this week to give you the best type of look. Andy said Maddox and some other guys. Who's playing scout team quarterback, and how have they been so far? It must not be easy to replicate.
I think it was Maddox today. Honestly, my eyes are in a different spot. I'm making sure those corners are where they need to be at, so I didn't see exactly who took all the reps, but I think the corners were, for the most part, kind of where they were supposed to be. We got to get that cleaned up, so I'll be focused on that for the rest of the day.
How hard is that to replicate their speed and what they do? And I know the scout team is doing the best they can, but it's probably not going to be the same what you see on Saturday.
Yeah, I haven't studied them throughout the years, but I would bet that most of their early possessions are successful for them. They probably move the ball pretty well because you can't replicate it. And so the speed of the game catches everybody off guard, and we got to do the best job we can to account for that and kind of have some urgency in everything that we do. And it's going to carry over to how we show up in the morning, how we watch film all week. And so we just have that urgency series 1 because, like he said, the possessions are going to be limited, and I'm sure that they usually start pretty fast because you're just not used to the speed.
Have you ever coached a game at the Air Force Academy?
My first game ever, 2008. It was at the Air Force. Didn't go so well.
They have the running of the cadets and the parachute team and all that kind of a cool, unique atmosphere there. And obviously, I know you're there to coach, but do you get a chance, I guess, just to kind of realize that it's a special place for football? And obviously, those guys are going through a lot more than just football. Going to defend the country. Would you have some respect for those guys?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, those guys are built off discipline, toughness, and they protect the country and us. And so we definitely have a ton of respect for them, and it's a great challenge for our guys because we build this program off toughness and discipline. And so it's like, how good are we compared to the best out there and the people that serve our country? And so it's a huge challenge for us, but it's a great opportunity. But yes, we respect the heck out of them, and as a coach, like it was my first game ever, so everything was new to me that day. So I was 23 years old trying to figure out what I was supposed to do.
Where has Caleb grown the most since week 1?
Consistency. I think early on he got beat a couple times week 1, and there just hasn't been a lot of opportunities for guys to beat him. He did a really good job against Fresno State with a couple PBUs, and just was on his guy a lot versus Fresno. And so just the consistency, playing and play out, when you play our style of defense, it's going to be like Air Force every week, where you do your job, and all of a sudden we're going to count on you, and you got to be where you need to be. And he's doing a good job of doing that, and then growing his techniques, so he can have some change-ups.
You said when we play our style of defense, what is that to you?
We cover. Our corners are in your face, and we cover man-to-man a lot. And it's week in, week out. Teams know that it's coming, and we got to make sure that we are doing our job and fitting one-on-ones. If we do that, we're very successful. If we don't do that, then it could be a long day for our defense. But that's what Boise's built off for the longest, is making sure guys can play man-to-man, being able to lock our matchup up. And if we do that consistently, we can have a good defense. And it's a razor's edge, because you give up one play, all of a sudden you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
And so that's the competitiveness that he has, and that all our guys have to have every single play, is to be competitive and win your one-on-one.
But how often is it where those guys are really on an island, there's no safety help? I mean, is it 50-50? Is it more or less?
They can get it anytime they want to. Offensive coordinators are pretty smart,
Okay.
and they can get us into a situation where they can go one-on-one anytime they want. And so it's been, again, our jobs is Coach D and Coach Ab do a great job of giving us help, but at the end of the day, they know if they want to get a one-on-one, they know how to get one.
Gotcha.
And our